So in this scene, we see the protagonist, Katniss Everdeen, going to the capital of Panem, the main city of this fictional country, by train. She's accompanied by Peeta, the other tribute. By the way, a tribute is how they call each competitor from the districts who is selected to participate in the Hunger Games. Here, we also meet Haymitch, who participated and won the Hunger Games over 20 years ago, and is supposed to help them get ready for the competition now.
You'd freeze to death first.
No, because I light a fire.
Well, that's a good way to get killed.
So here, Haymitch and Peeta are discussing how to survive in the Hunger Games. As we hear part of their conversation, Haymitch is warning Peeta about the risk of freezing to death, that is, dying because of freezing. Other similar collocations with the words to death are also commonly used, like to starve to death, which means to die because of hunger. To light a fire is to start a fire. Peeta means he would make a fire to stay warm. So Haymitch responds that lighting a fire in the Hunger Games is a good way to get killed.
You'd freeze to death first.
No, because I light a fire.
Well, that's a good way to get killed.
What's a good way to get killed?
Haymitch means this literally here because lighting a fire would let people know where Peeta is. However, this expression is sometimes also used in a sarcastic tone, when warning somebody that what they are trying to do will actually cause something bad to happen.
What's a good way to get killed?
Oh, Joy, why don't you join us? I was just giving some life-saving advice.
So here, he makes use of a compound adjective to describe the word advice. Life-saving advice is advice that saves lives. English is flexible in allowing you to manipulate words and turn them into different parts of speech: noun, adjective, verb, etc. For example, if an athlete breaks records, we could say he is a record-breaking athlete. Check out this other example.
We should have some chocolate-covered strawberries.
Oh, marvelous.
Please.
Which of these alternatives is grammatically incorrect? The correct phrase would be a good-looking man.
I was just giving some life-saving advice.
Like what?
No, I was just asking about how to find shelter.
A shelter is a location or structure that provides protection, normally from bad weather, danger, or attack.
Storm's coming up, Annie. You better get home quick.
Do you have shelter?
We'll head back to our ship.
Is it far? It's on the outskirts. You'll never reach the outskirts in time. Sandstorms are very, very dangerous. Come on, I'll take you to my place. These are my friends, Mom.
Hi, Daryl.
I'm Qui-Gon Jinn.
I'm Bill.
Your son was kind enough to offer us shelter.
In this case, Peeta is referring to how to find a location where he can stay safe from the dangers of the Hunger Games.
I was just giving some life-saving advice.
Like what?
No, I was just asking about how to find shelter.
In school, you probably learned to say this preposition as to. However, it is pretty rare for natives to emphasize it in this way. In fact, we usually reduce this preposition, and we have already seen several examples of this in the beginning of this scene. The first way we can reduce it is to a simple to.
You'd freeze to death first. You'd freeze to death first.
This happens when the word preceding to ends in a consonant sound, like the Z in freeze. Let's see another example.
I'm really not in the mood for a lecture. I'll apologize to Effie later.
However, if to is preceded by a vowel sound, the sound warps.
Well, that's a good way to get killed. Well, that's a good way to get killed.
No, I was just asking about how to find shelter. I was just asking about how to find shelter.
Now, what happened to the word to in these examples? If you watch our videos often, this was probably easy for you. The T becomes an American T. In other words, it transforms to a soft D sound. Furthermore, the to usually links to the previous word.
Well, that's a good way to get killed.
No, I was just asking about how to find shelter.
Let's check out a couple more examples.
That's not true, is it?
He loves you.
Well, why didn't you tell me to do that? Well, why didn't you tell me to do that? All right, look, I just think it's time for you to settle down. I just think it's time for you to settle down. From now on, this apartment is empty to me. This apartment is empty to me.
No, I was just asking about how to find shelter.
Which would come in handy if, in fact, you were still alive.
If we say that something comes in handy, it means it is useful in a specific situation. Example, the hidden extra key will come in handy if you lock yourself out. Hamish is sarcastically saying that finding shelter would be useful if he actually managed to stay alive.
Which would come in handy if, in fact, you were still alive.
Did you hear how he pronounces the word fact? Natives sometimes reduce the sound of words ending with the letters CT by cutting the T sound. Listen to this other example.
You realize that your actions reflect badly on all of us. You realize that your actions reflect badly on all of us.
It's more often done in the plural form of words, when they end in CTS.
You think maybe the president's bluffing?
He's not bluffing. Not with what's going on in the districts. Not with what's going on in the districts.
What do you mean?
He threatened to kill my family.
Well, I have family too. Okay, people that I need to protect.
What about them? Who protects them? Who protects them?
How do you find shelter?
Pass the jam.
How do you find shelter?
Give me a chance to wake up, sweetheart.
Normally, sweetheart is a word used to address somebody you love, either in a romantic tone or not. In this case, Hamish provokes Katniss and uses it humorously. He's not trying to show any affection for her. See this other similar example.
Jack. That would never have worked out between us.
Keep telling yourself that, darling.
Give me a chance to wake up, sweetheart. This mentoring is very taxing stuff.
In the movie, Hamish is responsible for helping the two participants from District 12 and act as their mentor. A person's mentor is someone who gives them help and advice over a period of time, especially help and advice related to their job. So, mentoring refers to the activity of a mentor. In informal English, it's common to hear the word stuff being used instead of thing or things, and to refer to generally anything.
Now, this green stuff is gonna smoke like crazy, so as soon as you light it, move on to the next fire. Light this one last, and I'll meet you back over there.
Right.
And then I'll destroy their stuff while they're chasing us.
He says that the work of mentoring is very taxing stuff.
This mentoring is very taxing stuff.
What do you think the word taxing means? So by calling this mentoring work very taxing stuff, he's saying that it is a very demanding or exhaustive activity. For example, a taxing task or problem is one that requires a lot of mental or physical effort. Like how traditional methods of learning English are taxing, but here on this channel we make it fun and natural, which is exactly why you should subscribe to not miss any engaging lessons like this one.
Can you pass the marmalade?
That is mahogany.
Marmalade is a spread made from oranges or lemons that is similar to jam and normally eaten on bread or toast at breakfast. Mahogany is a type of wood that is considered very expensive or rare when compared to other kinds of wood. Effie, the other character, gets upset after seeing Katniss stick a knife into the table and tells her that the table is made of mahogany. We can imply that she was upset by Katniss's lack of care for something Effie is responsible for.
That is mahogany.
Look at you. Just killed a placemat.
Look at you is an expression that can be used in two different ways. It can be said to encourage somebody and make them feel good about an achievement, for example.
Oh, look at you. You look beautiful.
Or as in the way Hamish says it, used to make fun of somebody's appearance or actions. In this case, he's making fun of Katniss's attempt to intimidate him.
Look at you. Just killed a placemat.
Check out this other example.
Look at you. The mighty Thor. With all your strength. And what good does it do you now, huh?
Just killed a placemat.
So he jokingly says she just killed a placemat. A mat, or a placemat, is a small piece of cloth, card, or plastic which you put on a table to protect it from food or liquids that fall off of your plate while you're eating. Other similar terms can be seen, like for example a doormat, which is a small carpet put in front of doors.
You really want to know how to stay alive?
So Hamish here does something which you probably see natives do all the time. He asks a question without using the auxiliary verb before the subject. He does not ask, "Do you really want to know?" Instead, he simply phrases it as an affirmative statement, but with the same intonation of a question. This is usually done to make the sentence sound shorter and less formal.
Hey, you want to see what I got you today? It's a Mockingjay pen to protect you.
Hey, lover boy. You sure she went this way?
Yeah, I'm sure.
You gotta be.
You may also hear it when somebody is shocked or doesn't quite believe something.
I just don't want to be another piece in their game, you know?
You mean you won't kill anyone?
You really want to know how to stay alive? You get people to like you. Oh, not what you were expecting.
To get is one of those verbs in English with several different meanings and applications. And in this case, the phrase to get somebody to do something means to make somebody do something, to cause them to do something.
If I get him to you, can you get him to talk?
I'll get him to sing. We're going after the mob's life savings. Things will get ugly.
So Hamish is saying that if she wants to stay alive in the Hunger Games, she should make people like her.
You really want to know how to stay alive? You get people to like you. Oh, not what you were expecting. When you're in the middle of the games and you're starving or freezing, some water, a knife, or even some matches can mean the difference between life and death.
A match, in this case, refers to a small wooden stick with the substance on one end that produces a flame when you rub it along the rough side of a matchbox.
Some water, a knife, or even some matches can mean the difference between life and death. And those things only come from sponsors. And to get sponsors, you have to make people like you.
In this sense, a sponsor is a person or organization that provides funds or resources for a project to be executed. In the Hunger Games, sponsors are the people who can help the participants during the competition by sending useful objects to their location in the arena. In another context, a more common use of this word refers to a brand or company that pays some or all of the costs involved in staging a sporting or artistic event in return for advertising. For example, soccer teams around the world. On the other hand, if you get off to a bad start, which is also a common expression, you are not successful in the early stages of doing something.
Boy, oh boy, this vacation is off to a wonderful start.